Farley. I'm trying to figure out the best way of us doing this where I can hand it off to you. But I don't have much space, so I may just do like that. Yeah. That work? Okay. Why is it not there? There. People are up there. Yay. And then right now I've got on I've got the agenda up. Financials is next. I'm gonna just let the people that have committee reports do it with just from the, rather than bring up their notes, people can look, All right, and then so that, and then now I can close this. All right, and then the financials, if she wanted to look at more than just, I thought I had, yeah, that.
Are you gonna drive the computer?
All right, because I've got people in waiting room. That's the reason why I wanted to go ahead and get it started. And I hope they can hear because that's the speaker we have.
Did they let you in? Yes, it's because Colleen is muted. So that's probably why.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Hi, Rhonda. I can hear you. So I hope you can hear me too.
Guess I should turn on my thing so I can.
You're on good.
Well,
I know.
all right, good morning. Good morning. Apologies for the teeny tiny room, but this is what we had available. So we're all scooched in together here really close. All right. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 10:01. Good morning, everybody. This is the June meeting of the Missouri Evergreen Membership Meeting. Okay, I want to check with online. Can you guys hear us?
Yep.
I have not. Okay. All right. All right, let's get started. Are we going to put the?
Oh, well, yeah. Let's see, share.
Colleen,
Yes,
can someone in the front or do you have access to writing down who's online?
it'll be in the video, so I can do it from there.
Okay, thank you. And there's a membership list a sign up sheet thing going around, it's from the front to the back.
All right, thanks, Terry.
All right, hang on. I can't, where's my share?
We're getting some,
Where's my
we
share?
do have technical difficulties as far as the microphone today. This is what we get, so hopefully our online people can hear us okay, especially when we start talking from the audience.
My
Oh.
share button is gone.
Let me see.
It's at the very top left. Oh, no, from where you were. Go back to more
Go back to,
and then scroll.
Okay,
thank you, Katie.
it was,
It
it hided it. All right, let me then move this down here and then that. Okay,
Okay, can you scroll up?
yeah.
Okay, we called the order like 5 minutes ago already, but here we are. Okay, in your board packets, or sorry, in your membership packets, we have the minutes of the February meeting. We did not have a meeting in April, so I will take a motion to approve the February membership meeting minutes. Krista, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to the executive board report from Colleen. Sue, we have one seat up here, maybe a seat up here? Okay. Oh, there's one over here as well.
Okay. I was just admitting some people. I know, there's a seat there.
There's a, yeah.
It's going.
Okay, I know it's been a while since we've met, and hang on. A little bit about what's been going on. I'm keeping this up because I want to make sure I get people in the room that need to be moved. We have had, since our February meeting, we have migrated 3 more libraries, Sedalia, Bonterre, and Centralia. And with that, so Centralia just migrated last week. The resource sharing doesn't begin till next week, but we now have 80 libraries that are live on Missouri Evergreen and 4 libraries that are waiting. So we are 84 members strong. Total patrons now is 5,085. Total items, 5,039,427. Total bibs, 1,227,278. So we actually have, so that's a lot of items that we can share across. Our 2 newest members is Branson Hollister, and they're slated probably in February, March of 2027, and Merle, which is slated for May thereabouts of 2027. The other 2 do not have migration dates yet. I have more people. For those of you who showed up at our Missouri Evergreen Conference, thank you. We had a record attendance. We had over 100 show up, and I know some of you did not register. And the reason I know that is I had 107 name tags. We ran out of name tags. So
By a
that's
lot.
great. Yeah, by a lot. So I am grateful that everybody showed up. If you did not have a chance to show up at the users conference, the slides and presentations and documents are loaded onto Odoo. And please take a look at that. There were some really, really good presentations. Jake, Ron, Kathleen, and I have been working on are the members of our new website committee. We have now signed a contract with somebody that will create us a new website. So we're still in the early stages, but well, considering I haven't even answered their first questions yet, then yes, we're in the very early stages, but we will be getting us a vibrant new website within the near future.
And how are we
Yay.
paying for that, Colleen?
It is being paid out of our development. So that is money that has been specifically set aside. It is restricted money, so therefore we can use that for, it's not coming out of general operating funds. Let's see, hopefully this website will put us in WCAG compliance because we are way out of compliance right now.
How much is in our development fund now?
The financial records still say 10,000, but we do know it's about 18,000. We haven't transferred in a few years and we will get that done. And this website right now is going to be about 10,000 to create. So we should still have money in the developmental funds. Let's see, we are also working hard on getting 401k set up for employees. So we've got the final paperwork that the board still has to approve, but then we will be offering the 401k to our employees. We added health insurance earlier in last fall, I believe. So now it was February before the first payment. So we added health insurance and we will be adding 401k. And I know all of you guys want to talk about OCLC. We will get to that later. I'm not going to dwell on it today. This morning, other than to tell you, I did meet with, did have a meeting with the directors that have OCLC cataloging and their catalogers to get their opinions on how we go. And then I came up with board guidance. I came up with a couple of funding proposals for you if you would like to do that. Okay, other question I know I'm going to get today is our recent outages and SIP authentication. I did hear from Equinox yesterday and they are still working on their after action report, but they haven't sent me yet on this latest one. But they do believe it is all still bot attacks that are doing massive searches on our OPAC. So what's going to happen, and all you Aspen people already kind of see this, is you will get a message whenever you first load up Aspen that will have 3 little gears that say, I'm authenticating that you're not a bot. And that's what your patrons see, it won't affect staff interface at all. That will be going on to our default OPACs to hopefully deter some of these bot attacks that are happening. They do say it's kind of like whack-a-mole and that it is not just our consortium, that it is consortiums that have their catalogs online worldwide. And we do.
And it's not just Equinox Consortium either.
No, it's not just Equinox. It is, if a library has their catalog online, which we all do and we want, it is vulnerable to that. And it's just trying to make those vulnerabilities as less as possible. And because of that is what's causing your slowness, but it is also causing your SIP authentication because it authenticates through Missouri Evergreen. So if Missouri Evergreen is slow, your authentication is going to be a problem. They are, like I said, they are currently working on that, making sure that it is trying to figure out exactly what is going on. But they are doing the best that I guess is what I'm trying to say. And we are working. Yes.
Colleen, do we continue to report it?
Yes.
Okay.
Continue to report it. They have not sent me saying you're sending too many tickets on this. No. Continue to report it when you have those problems. But they do want to assure you it is only the OPACs. It is not the staff computers that are being bot attacked. So no patron data has been compromised.
And have you addressed what the SIP issue is?
That is what it is all the same thing. The SIP issue and the slowness are all the same thing, because if Missouri Evergreen, if the OPAC is not working correctly and is slowing you down, then your SIP people can't authenticate what's on your Mogo accounts or your Plus or that. Yes,
Is it something that you keep trying or eventually?
they are trying, yes.
But I mean, like the people that are trying to get on Libby that can't, we can just keep trying.
They can keep trying and see if they can, because I know, Amigos.
Hi.
Sent me an email the other day about it, and I emailed Kyla back.
Yeah, yeah, they've noticed, they've
Yeah.
gotten reports, and
They've
of course, we've gotten reports, and so. Yeah, I mean, no sales team would be happy to work with Equinox, but,
That doesn't work.
Overdrive, I used to do sales, I'll know that, but, Overdrive would be happy to talk to Equinox if you want to, I can put the people in touch, you just let me know, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, they'd be very happy to have a contact there,
Yeah.
but.
I sent them an email on Monday of who Amigos to contact with, but I haven't received anything back that I haven't checked my email this morning, so it's possible I do now, but I will get with you on that.
Okay, great,
Because the more conversations we can have, the better.
right, yeah, we don't want patrons frustrated. so.
Oh, and they are, and I did.
Yeah.
I actually could not download an audiobook before I came here today. And it's like,
Torture.
yeah.
Now this is getting serious.
It is.
Technically.
Wednesday, I was looking for audiobooks for my trip, but it's like, but I can't get one. So I agree, it is an issue. Let's see, we have a new Aspen cohort that is in the middle of migrating. I saw on my schedule you had a 9 o'clock meeting. Did anybody show up to that? Did you actually show up to that? Wow, you're dedicated. So it is Neosho, Carthage, Trails, Morgan, and Webster are all getting Aspen. And launch date on that is about July 23rd, though some of them will probably wait till after summer reading to actually launch it to their patrons. We are accepting another group of 5, so if you are interested in getting Aspen, please let me know, and we will get you on the list. Just so you'll know, as far as what's involved, there is a $2,500 fee for your implementation. You wait a minute, you've already paid that. Huh? There's a $2,500 fee for your implementation, and then there is weekly training and implementation meetings that you or your staff will have to attend. And it's just the people that are going to be working on the back end of Aspen, not your entire staff. Just, if you've got somebody that's going to be adding stuff to it and doing that.
And what's the annual fee?
Going forward, it is a $15,000 annual fee that they charge to Missouri Evergreen. We then divide it out by all the libraries that are on Aspen based on income. So the more libraries that are on Aspen, the less it will cost you. I think from last year, some people are going to see some discounts this year. I am just beginning to work on the budget and membership fees for next year. The PLS finally came out, so therefore I was straight to court. So now we're starting to put all those facts and figures in there so we can tell you what membership fee will be this year. Right now, we don't. I'm still working on that. And that was all I had. Does anybody else have any questions?
How many Aspen libraries do we have now? 15 or 20?
25, I believe.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
I think it's 25. I think this cohort will be 25. Unless I'm thinking wrong. I have to look. I'll count it up later and ask you, but I think it is 25. Any other questions for me?
All right, great. Thank you, Colleen. Next, we have the financial report. Katie is in the room and Kristen is online. So Katie, let us know what's happening.
Okay.
He's doing ask me demo.
Sorry, I was showing Ellen. Okay. I guess I didn't need to stand because now I'm gonna be like.
Yeah, you know, like that.
There you go. All right, so we've got financials. Hopefully y'all looked at it beforehand, because I'm not gonna go into too much detail. This is our balance sheet. Also in the packet was the Brookmont statements. So if you're so interested in looking at what interest rate we're getting, so that's what that, oh, scroll back up. That's what that Fidelity investment is. So we do have so much money that's actually being invested, so really a little bit.
Katie, you might, there's the number on the development fund, but that is not with the 3 years that we didn't transfer money in. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just the balance sheet. Let's go down. Here's the profit and loss. So you can see this is as of the end of May. And so you can see what we've done so far this year, in terms of income. So we've actually had more income coming in this month than we have in the last couple of months, just because we do things cyclically. And there's been not a lot of movement on fees coming in since we haven't been charging fees. Most of the fees were from Aspen Libraries joining. And then you can see our expenditures, which were all expected. Mostly payroll is the biggest expense. Scrolling. Here's our budget comparison, so you can see what we budgeted for the year versus what we've actually done. Everything is coming along. We still have some more grant money coming in from the state library. Some other fees. We haven't done the authority control yet. That'll come later this year. So you'll be getting another invoice for that. And we did overspend ever so slightly on the users conference, but we'll find that money from some of the other categories that are underspent. And payroll we're under, so we're good. Yeah. Is that it? The last page?
Oh,
and then we have one library that is not quite current, but they're not too far overdue. Questions?
Questions for Katie?
Is there anything from Kristen that she wanted to add? Where she's on? Oh,
I'm here. No, I just want to say, yeah, with the development fund, it looks like the last time money was put into it was 2023. So yeah, if you needed any money transferred into it, just let us know and we can do that transfer.
I know this is eons ago, but I thought as the board, we agreed to give a certain percentage into that fund every year. What happened to that? Did that stop?
we just haven't calculated it.
Oh,
it is board policy.
Yeah.
It's 1% of membership fees.
And that was my failure as treasurer. I did not make sure that happened every year. So that was.
okay.
But yes, it is 1% of membership fees goes into that fund.
How much of the surplus are we ending this year with?
What?
How much of the surplus are we ending the fiscal year with?
We think
Fiscal year is, yeah.
there'll be a surplus of 123,000. And that was from the extra increase that we got from the grant last year.
123,000 surplus?
Yes.
Because we got extra.
We got a one-time extra grant money because they were trying to make sure that we were sustainable if LSTA money
How
went
much
away.
was that? Wow. Yeah, ballpark.
It was a good chunk.
It was a good job.
Yeah, it's a good chunk.
Yeah, the migration,
Funded hosted support. Yes.
Yeah, and we haven't done the other billing for the end of the year, so there's going to be more fee income towards the very end of the year. So that final income number is going to go up.
so they put 100% of hosting and support, and it's normally 80. So yes.
So do we catch up that development?
We will,
fund?
yeah.
Okay.
I need to know how to do the calculation before I make that transfer.
But yeah, we will count that out.
And obviously we would do that going back to the, into the different fiscal years to see what that percentage was. And catch up.
Has there been any unexpected expenses that have not been budgeted?
There will be
Or will be?
for next year, but obviously we will be budgeting for that, but yes, there are some costs that need to be discussed.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions for Katie or Kristen before we vote on the financials? I'll take a motion. Oh, Colleen.
Well, if you're talking about something that was not originally budgeted, and that is the HRA reimbursement, our healthcare. That was not originally budgeted, but we did use some of the surplus money to fund that.
That's gonna be a budget category.
It will be a budget category going forward.
Just making sure we're all transparent. Thank
Yeah.
All right, I will take a motion from the membership to approve the financials.
I'll move.
Krista, second.
Civil second.
Sue, second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thanks, Katie.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna move on to committee reports. I think most of our committee heads are online. Let's start with Sarah with cataloging. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. So at our last general cataloging meeting we had in May, we went over the dedupe results again because that project's wrapped up. And we talked about, there weren't any major issues. It went really well. The only thing we ran into were issues based on user error. So we had, here and there, there's ISBNs that are joined in a record that shouldn't be joined together. So we kind of, went over ways to look for those and fix those as we find them. But it mostly went very well. We also discussed cataloging travel guides. The regional training is finished for 2026. There were a total of 83 staff from 39 libraries in attendance. Liz did her usual great job, and all the feedback I've gotten has been really positive. This was my first opportunity as a chair to go with Liz to the trainings, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to meet so many different Met catalogers, and thank you to all the libraries that agreed to host us. It's much appreciated. Also in May, Liz visited Missouri River Regional, which is one of our incoming libraries. She had spoken with their library director and their cataloging staff, and that went really well. And they're working on, working in the test server and kind of getting themselves up to speed for eventually next year, I believe. Cataloging committee projects, we are currently reviewing Z3950 targets so that we can remove any that are no longer functioning. We're also beginning a new project to review the cataloging policies and best practices documents for any possible updates that need to be made. And we have a tentative completion date for that of early September. After testing and review, it was agreed that we would be turning on the setting in Evergreen for requiring monograph parts on all items when any item on the record has a monograph part. We changed the setting on June 1st, and an email was sent out to the cataloging list prior to that change, so everyone would be aware of it. Hopefully this will cut down on any issues with holds and parts. Rhonda might be able to explain that a little better than that side of it better than I can. And I think that's most of what I had. The next regular cataloging meeting will be on Monday, June 8th at 11. Anybody have any questions?
Thanks, Sarah. All right, Rhonda, you are up.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Cataloging just finished their regional training, and we are announcing circulation regional training. At the beginning of next week, we're going to be sending out a save the date and then also a short, very brief survey to find out what libraries really want to see covered at the time that we're meeting, so that we are hitting the pain points or issue points for libraries. Those are scheduled in September and October. So thank you to Camden County, Jefferson County, Poplar Bluff, Livingston County, and Carthage for being willing to host. Like I say, look at the beginning of next week and you should find more information in your inboxes. At the committee meeting, we requested that libraries take a look at their library setting for missing pieces. And currently, Missouri Evergreen's default is to mark items that you are trying to mark missing pieces as damaged. It checks it out to the previous patron or the patron who has it, who had it, but it puts it in damaged status. And so a couple of years ago, we asked for a setting called actually missing pieces. And so I have included in your packet instructions on how to go in and change your setting to where those items actually do say missing pieces. I spoke with Equinox this morning. Some of you guys, thank you, who have already done it. There were 20 libraries at the CERC committee meeting who had already switched it, and we're up to 39 now. So we're pretty much halfway there. So if you would take a look at that, the instructions are included in your packet. Also, hopefully at the beginning of next week, we are going to be posting an updated, larger version of the MEC item condition report with the hope that it would become harder for both staff and patrons to, so we don't overlook it. Also, hopefully that it would stay in items better in the whole transit process. So that also will be coming out hopefully at the beginning of next week. Again, I'll be sending out those things to you. You'll get a notice that it's available, and I'll be able to direct you to where you can go on the website to get a PDF version of what we produce. So thank you to Darcy from Carthage for working on that for us. Our next meeting will be June 23rd. It's a Tuesday at 11 o'clock. So we would love to see you there. Does anybody have any questions?
Thanks, Rhonda. All right, with the reports committee, we've got Heather.
Oh, the committee recently emailed membership on the reports list about a bad template we found that for counting deleted items, and we encouraged libraries who are running a deleted items report every month to double check their templates and make sure it's pulling correct data. If you did not get that email, it might mean you're not signed up for the reports list. So please do that. You can also just send an email to reportshelp at moevergreenlibraries.org, and I can forward that to you so that you have the information on it. With Ron's help, we updated a couple of documents on the reports resources page on the website. So thank you to Ron for that. We are also working to limit the number of folders, which the template folders, which are shared on the Missouri Evergreen level, because those show up in everybody's searches. So we're going to be sending out emails to folks to just ask them to unshare or to share at the library level only. Our goal in doing that is to limit the number of templates that show up during a search so that the templates which show are vetted templates that we have real confidence in. So if you get an email like that, don't be alarmed. We are, what else are we working on? Well, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but our next meeting is a week from today at 2 o'clock. We would love to see you. We're pretty casual, so even if you just want to drop in and look at a report with us or ask a question, we would love to see you. If you have a question before then or something more complicated that you want to talk about with a dedicated group of reports enthusiasts, you can email reportshelp at moevergreenlibraries.org, and we will do our very best to help you. And if there's no questions, that's all from me.
Thank you, Heather. We are very happy to have a group of report enthusiasts because most of us are not report enthusiasts. Okay, is Leanne on the call with the Consortium Assistance Network?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Leanne.
Good morning, everyone. So yeah, the committee has been busy working with all the new migrations. I know Mary Kay's been working closely with all of that. In our previous meetings, we were working on finalizing the updates to the admin manual so that that can all be online and updated. And then the glossary for like evergreen terms, that has been completed and is online for anyone that wants to look at that. Let's see. We are also looking into some new resource guides in the future, such as like barcoding, rebarcoding process, and like printer hatch setup, that type of thing. And if anyone has any suggestions on things that they would like to see, just let us know. And be sure to join us, if you are interested in any of this or have any questions or concerns. Our next meeting is going to be June 10th at 1 p.m. So everyone's welcome to join us and give some input. And then I think that's most that I have. Mary Kay, I think I saw that you were on here. Did you have anything you want to add?
Nope. You hit all the high points, Leanne.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Leanne and Mary Kay. Anyone have any questions for any of our committees before we move on? Great. Jane is on the call with Mala. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning, all of you. Sorry I can't be in Poplar Bluff, and I could even have brought you some gifts, but I'm in Kansas City. So thanks again for inviting me to the user conference back in April. I thought it went really well. I was happy with how many questions we had, and hopefully I said a lot of your answered a lot of your questions and set you a little more at ease. Since then, Cass had just joined right before then, and they are going full blast. Rhonda can attest to that, I'm sure, and seemingly quite smoothly for the most part. Every time you start it, it takes about a week to decide what works for you. So there's there's that's not really a portal issue or anything like that, but just how you handle it and what you do in your space. And so they had that for a couple of days, but they were really fast adjusting. We then went on to St. Joseph, and they are also gung-ho going well. Again, maybe Bethany, I don't know if Bethany's on the line here. They are done some experimenting with a label printer, a receipt printer. They're doing great kind of investigative pilot things that we're really encouraged about, because that's what we really want to, we don't have anything to send out. So we don't have anything to play with. So that's great. Then we went to the state library, and they're our first 2-day-a-week library. They have much smaller volume, but they're seemingly doing well. They're going to train a couple of their other people who use the courier, like Wolfner, and I now can't remember, maybe Reference Services. So we're happy with them. Then we had a long discussion after the state library came on with Capital Express. And since the state library was the first non-Kansas City warehouse library that came on, they thought it would be helpful if they could add on some more Columbia Hub libraries, because then they could get more of those drivers into the groove of it, and we could start seeing how two hubs work to, with both hubs having their own labeling going on. So we took a little pause on the rest of our pilot libraries, and we're going to bring on Columbia libraries, as many as want to join soon rather than later. So we went to Little Dixie on Monday, had a beautiful drive out to Moberly, Katrina and I, and we had invited all of the Columbia Hub libraries, if they were interested or available, to join us in Little Dixie to get a kind of a hands-on look at what's going on. Here's how it works, little practice, ask questions. And we had 4 libraries join us, and it went really well. It was exactly kind of how Katrina and I were hoping it would go. They had a great setup for us. They had wonderful snacks. Rachel, if you're on here, thank you so much. They had great questions. They were able to see, even though the 4 libraries that joined were much 2-day, most of them were 2-day, one was just a 1-day. So their volume is very different. and their space is very different, but it was helpful. They Little Dixie was so kind and showed us exactly how they set things up, and I think it answered a bunch of questions. So Little Dixie started yesterday. And of course, there was a glitch because the driver didn't know how to do it. So, there's always a glitch, even though we had been reassured, the driver had been informed and trained, but that didn't quite work as planned. I guess that was Tuesday. They started Tuesday. So yesterday, I think it went better. Centralia is going to start next week when they start their live sharing on Evergreen. And then Delaney's going to start, I think, at the end of next week. We've got to look at a calendar and get back with her. I think she's at the conference right now. Trails is going to start at some point, probably next week. We've just got to get with their schedule. They're not Columbia, they're Kansas City. They had been scheduled earlier in May, and then they had some things come up at the library, so they needed to just push it out. So we'll keep them. So we will be sending out, actually this afternoon, Katrina and I are going to make kind of a plan to kind of recruit as many of those Columbia libraries and find a new central location. So if you have a library in the Columbia hub and you would like to host us in the next week or two, not this week, probably not even next week, but the week following, we would love to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll just be picking people and asking them, which also works. So it's been there's still one scanning. It's not a glitch. We'll just make it easier when they figure out how to do it. The drivers have to scan now twice. It's like a load and then I don't even know what the other word is. They're words that make no sense to library land. And so they're trying to get rid of and make it just a one, like when they drop off, they have a scan, and when they pick up, they have a scan. So once you agree to join us at either we come to you or we do it on Zoom or we come to one of these central locations, we'll give you all of your login information. We'll give you links to a video. We'll give you links to how to look at your space. We don't do that ahead because if you enter anything, it's immediately live and you can't delete it. So we're not sending it out en masse to everybody because we have a lot of libraries to get on board. And so I know maybe one of your questions is, can't I have it? Can't I play around with it? And no, we're that mean teacher. You have to wait to turn over your worksheet till we're all ready to do the project. So, but rest assured, it's all ready to go once you sign up. And as I've told some people, I laughed at Little Dixie. I'm like, all the people in Columbia should be trying to get in this early round because right now we only have like 6. So Katrina and I can easily answer all questions. We can work with Capital Express for any glitches. But when we have 100 and you're at the end of the road, it might be a little bit of, oh gosh, you'll have to wait, an hour or two before we can figure out what's going on with you. So that's an encouragement to get everyone up and running, but actually it's running really smooth. So, and I don't know if Lori, I see Rhonda's there, anybody's there in person, you feel free to see if they look harried from it. It's proving to be much simpler to learn, to adapt. And the biggest thing is your space. And that's even not proving to be a huge thing that we thought it might be. So I'm happy to answer questions. The other thing is, if you haven't turned in your annual survey, it is due tomorrow. And if you haven't turned in your annual agreement, it was due Monday. And so please do both of those things. The agreement, we need to make sure, we have a lot of new directors and a lot of new ILL people. We usually hear about the new directors, but we don't always hear about a new ILL person. So that makes sure we have all of our records correct and we're sending reminder, all the emails go to the right people. It also confirms that us in Capital Express know and agree on the days you're getting your delivery. Those are the big things on the annual agreement. And then the survey is just mandated if you're receiving grant funded days. that you fill out this annual survey. It's, I think it's 10 multiple choice questions, and there is a spot for you to share any great stories that you have that the Courier's made a difference in your community. Maybe you have a homeschool family that uses them, or senior citizens who get, you know, large print, or a book club that just loves it. Anything you'd like to share, that would be great. Then we just include those in our grant report to the state library. Mala Pro membership is renewing right now. So if you'd like to renew, I think there's a small savings for the next maybe a week or two. Okay. I know I talked fast and I talk a lot. So if you have questions in the either online or in the audience, I'm happy to answer any of them.
I have.
Yeah, I don't think, but.
I think it's mainly.
Okay, Colleen, if there was a question, I could not hear that first person talking.
Part of it was, had I checked the chat? Oh,
okay. I did not check the chat.
And so I am checking chat now.
Okay, thank you.
And somebody had asked about, just, I know, it's gotta make it bigger. All right. Have you reached out? Sedalia was saying something about, oh, hang on, I can't get it to, what did she say? About the change. So you might want to reach out to Sedalia about the change.
Okay. Good.
Oh.
They were on our list.
I actually like that. There was a comment about that it kind of looks like a video waiting for everyone when the floor shifts. I like that, actually.
That's funny. I will. They are actually, they didn't even know it, but they're on my list because we're going to try to loop them in with trails. So
okay.
Hopefully that's the answer they want. Otherwise, we'll be in touch later, probably tomorrow.
Okay.
I'd like to ask everybody that's online if there is a question that we're not catching because it's kind of chaotic on this end as far as the computer. Go ahead and just somebody raise a hand or something or get our attention so we
just
can
butt
answer.
in.
Yeah, so we can answer that question. All right, if there's no questions for Jane, we are going to move on to Missouri State Library. I know Janet and Corey are both here. Corey?
Well, it's actually, it's my computer, so you can take my seat.
So this is kind of a busy time of year for us because we're doing, Colleen. Colleen has decided to sit on the floor. This is kind of a busy time for us because we're doing our fiscal year switchover and trying to get everything set for next fiscal year. So we've done all of our stuff with Mala about any potential changes to stops. You all have gotten those notifications and done all of that. And if you didn't get a notification on changes to stops, you didn't have any stop changes. So good for you. Other than that, we are doing everything with Evergreen, OCLC, all of those standard things we do year to year, trying to make all the money fit for what we have. Those funds are always tight, so we're just trying to make everything fit in. One thing with LSTA is we are starting the process of our LSTA 5-year plan. This is basically the thing that decides what our priorities are going to be for the next 5 years. We have outside consultants that we contract with to help us through that process. And it's pretty in-depth and a long process. And as part of that, they do like to get input from libraries. We don't have the formal plan for how that's going, but expect maybe people to contact you, ask you questions. You may see a few surveys, all of that. As you're going through that process, just keep in mind LSTA is what pays for part of Missouri Evergreen, part of the courier service. A lot of people think of those competitive grants, summer library program, tech grants, all of those, but keep in mind those statewide programs too, whenever they're asking you what we do for you and what you would like to see done with LSTA funds, just a thing to keep in the back of your mind. And then the other thing is we are building the public library survey for next year. And as far as what you guys need to worry about is we know there are going to be no changes to circulation or collection questions. So however you did it last year is how you're doing it this year, except Colleen has done a wonderful job of hopefully making it much easier for you all with those new location codes. So we're hoping for once this will be a better survey for you all this year. Knock on wood. But
I just changed one section. The rest of it's on you.
yeah. So no big changes there. So I know you guys are happy to hear that. And that's pretty much what we've got going on.
All right, thanks, Corey. Any questions for Corey at the State Library? Okay, Colleen's got to get up off the floor now.
My own knees don't do
All right, now we're to the discussion of the day, maybe, I don't know. So we are going to be talking about the OCLC funding. Now, one thing I want everybody to get in their heads before we start this discussion, this is cataloging and metadata subscription. This is not interlibrary loan that the state library helps pay. This is two totally separate things. This is the cataloging and metadata subscription that currently 18 to 20 libraries are paying for in the Missouri Evergreen Consortium. Colleen is going to explain what has been happening with OCLC and why we're in this situation. And then Liz will start talking about the importance of this for our consortium. And we will lay out two payment options or funding schemes for the situation.
Okay, a little bit of background. When Missouri Evergreen's been around since 2012, 2014, and what has been happening is generally libraries kept their OCLC if they wanted, OCLC cataloging if they wanted it. So we had about 20 libraries that have OCLC cataloging, and the rest of the consortium did not. And that was perfectly fine because those people would add records to the system and they would be good quality records. However, we got large enough that we have attracted their attention. And so a couple years ago, I believe Steve had gotten a quote on how much it would cost to add OCLC cataloging to the consortium, and it turned off again. You have to put my video back on and make everybody shake on the patio. Okay. And it was $225,000 to add it as a consortium thing. So Steve said, we can't do it. So we turned him down. Late last summer, they approached us again. And this time they used a different tactic, and they said that what the libraries that had OCLC cataloging was doing was actually against their rights and responsibilities. So they were not allowed to share it to a consortium that did not have everybody a member. Well, I got on their website and it says right on it, you can do that. I contacted Adam Summers and had him give me to make sure that I was thinking correctly. And he goes, yes, that may not be what they wanted, but it does say that in black and white that you could share records whether you're a member or not a member to a consortium. So we didn't hear after that little argument, we didn't hear from them for months. And being the little Pollyanna that I was, I thought it was over. No, they came back to us in February and said that you will have a consortium membership agreement, or those 20 libraries will not be able to renew their subscription in the coming year. So if their subscription ended in July 1st and they renewed it, they would not be able to renew it in July 1st in 2027. And they actually do have the legal right to decide who's a member, just like we do. And so what they did was change their tactics. And at the time they offered us a deal of $140,000. I came back to them and said, no, we cannot afford that. So they did then come back with a formal offer of $90,000 with adding any additional libraries that we add on to that have OCLC cataloging that would be added in. We do plan on adding a library in with cataloging next year. They would prorate it. So for fiscal FY 27, the cost would be of $95,000. So I'm gonna turn the rest over to Liz to talk about OCLC.
Okay. Hold on.
Nope. Yeah.
Is this the time for us to, because I've already got the note on one of the libraries on the sheet, if you're looking at the spreadsheet. The one
We're gonna go over the price later.
No, I want to talk about the spreadsheet, about how you coded things to indicate which libraries actually have OCLC.
We'll go over that later. Okay.
Well, I've already renewed.
Yeah.
And there was no mention.
There will not be any mention when did you renew?
Well, my renewal date was July 1st.
Which means.
Notice in my invoice.
Yes, you were able, and you will not lose, if the membership says no to OCLC, you will not lose cataloging until July 1st, your next year's renewal. Because this does not place, that was the other thing, is they wanted to start this on July 1st. We told them there was no way that would happen because of our fiscal year and the way we do funding. We couldn't do anything until September 1st. And so therefore they did lower that, they did give us an extra 90 days to get that portion taken care of.
Thanks for that, Claire.
Sure.
Just curious, if they say that, and we said, okay, what kind of negotiation power do you have at that point? Because they're gonna lose income from 20.
That's what I said.
20 libraries, so
Yes.
they hold us hostage. Why can't, I mean, I'm just.
I
have very ill feelings about.
I understand.
They're the library mafia.
They are.
Everything works.
Okay, wait.
I mean,
Even catalogers agree. Even catalogers agree with that.
They're horrible.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Can I just say that you wanted Liz to talk?
Yeah, let
Can we
Liz
have
know.
Liz
Yeah.
talk?
Okay, can you all hear me?
We all know he hates OCLC.
Yeah.
That's universal, okay?
Yeah, I hate OCLC also, I get it, guys. I want to talk a little bit about like how cataloging works in Missouri Evergreen, if you don't know. So currently 20 libraries have OCLC. They see that when they go into Z3950. Z3950 is where you go if there's not a record. Your cataloger looks it up, there's not a record, they need to bring one in, they go to Z3950. People with OCLC have their credentials there. There are other things in Z3950. People can turn on their Z3950. And you can pull in, I don't know how many are on there currently, 15 maybe?
Between 10 and 15.
10 and 15. That is how it currently works. So
10 or 15 what?
other
Z39
50
target.
targets.
Thank you.
Yes. So that is how that works. As a cataloging committee, when we heard this, we did go out and see what else is available. And there is nothing. Sky River does not exist in the way we thought Sky River did. It's owned by Clarivat, and they are not offering their service anymore. We did look into Bookware. Bookware is a Z3950 aggregate, which basically means it is basically the thing we already have built into the catalog. It just uses your targets. There is nothing similar to OCLC, and they have done that through being litigious, basically. BTCAT, if you are familiar with Baker and Taylor going under, that played a role. Is there an alternative to OCLC? Not currently. And that is in part to them suing everyone and BT going under and people trying to then scramble for other vendors. So who does everybody use now? Ingram, Follett, and they are trying to catch up. So, but they do not have cataloging departments like Baker and Taylor did. So if you're getting records through your vendors now, you have free records, which, let's be real, are crap. They also are Ingram specifically is going to offer records you can pay for. However, no one has seen those yet.
And you have to get all of them for everything you buy. You can't just be like, I only need these records because they're not in the catalog. It would be anything you bought, you would get some sort of record. And again, we don't know the quality. So there is not really an option that is not OCLC.
I did speak with Ingram about a consortium version, and they said they weren't there yet, but they would be at some point looking at a consortium.
Before we start taking questions, I want to talk as well about how current OCLC members serve the consortium as a whole.
I got you.
So
basically now what happens, those people who have OCLC, they bring in records through the Z3950 with their OCLC credentials, and then other libraries and MEC, regardless of whatever, are able to add their items, holdings to the records once they get into the Missouri Evergreen catalog. If you are not OCLC, again, you're using Z3950, but that is what they are having a problem with, I guess, is them coming in and attaching holdings once they get in the system. I don't know, what else do you want me to say?
okay, so hang on. Okay, go ahead.
It's my understanding that you guys do not have.
That is completely incorrect.
true.
We have had OCLC for the last 30 plus years. As one of the larger libraries, and there's only a handful of us as well that add on order records. So what that means is we are putting 500 to 1,000 records in our shared consortium a month. And when we do that, we are overlaying them most often with OCLC records because vendor records, as Liz said, they suck. So that enables all libraries in Missouri Evergreen, no matter what size, to simply attach your holdings to that record. You did not pay for OCLC to get that benefit. The 18 libraries that have OCLC, they, you guys are benefiting from that. And I believe that most of the libraries that add on order holdings currently are OCLC members. I don't have the complete stats for that, but certainly the majority are. So while you currently most likely are not paying for OCLC, because let's be real, the vast majority of Missouri Evergreen members do not have OCLC, you are 100% already benefiting from OCLC. Also, even maybe more importantly, Liz is our consortium cataloger. She uses OCLC very often. She also, one of her job duties is that libraries who don't have OCLC, they're trying to find these bib records through the Z39 targets that are available. They can't get them. So they will send a list of, however many titles to Liz and say, hey, I can't find a record for these. Can you download these for me in OCLC? And she does that. So I don't know if we have a room full of directors here. You might not be catalogers. I am completely aware that some of you are jacks of all trades and you do catalog as well as directoring. But if you do not catalog, your cataloger is absolutely benefiting from OCLC libraries.
I have an example of this. So last week I have libraries who will go through, I would say boop, scan things and see if they can find things in Z3950. And if they can't, they'll send me a list of ISBNs so then I can go look for them. I got a list last week of 16 items. I was able to find 13 of those in OCLC. That meant that cataloger only had to originally catalog 3 items versus 16.
What's the time difference between original cataloging and?
A lot. If it's a book, I can do a book in, if it's not complicated, 20-30 minutes. Okay. Because we all know the little bips and boops you have to all type in. It's a lot of almost coding, right, for cataloging. If it is something that is not a book, a DVD, an hour plus.
Much more
A
complicated.
kit, an hour plus.
And right. And Liz does this every day. So even our advanced catalogers who have passed our advanced cataloging training, they technically know how to originally catalog. But that does not mean they originally catalog every day. So these things are not fresh in their mind. If it takes Liz for an easy fiction book 20 minutes, it would take a cataloger that, yes, technically knows how to originally catalog, but doesn't do it very often. It can easily take that person an hour to 2. Ron?
And the thing with original cataloging, we're not going to necessarily pick up on every single subject heading. There could be, alternate authors, editors, illustrators. They're not going to be as good as records. They'll be adequate, but they won't be good.
So this is the situation that we find ourselves in. You've been waiting very patiently for.
Couple questions. Is there an LOC alternative? Because I'll be honest with you. Well, and the second question is, what is an average of what your OCSC is costing those 20 libraries?
Okay, that is a trickier question.
Let's say just medium range.
No, there is no
no.
rhyme or reason to
There's
what
no
OCLC is charging.
Okay, and the 90,000 that they're charging us is actually what those libraries are paying. They say basically are taking that 90,000 that these libraries are paying together and putting it on us. However, when you look at what each individual library pays, there is no rhyme or reason to what one library pays versus another. I've got one library that pays almost $8,000 at $7,780. And they have half the income of another library that is paying $2,300. Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't, but I'll be honest with you. 90,000 a year for this consortium.
I'm aware.
Obviously, I'm not a cataloger. I already know very little about cataloging. But a few weeks ago, when you and I started this conversation, I asked our cataloger to start just using the Z3950 pull record. I asked her to pull records for items that we got in new from outside of the consortium, so not from other evergreen libraries. And she said when it came to like our new items, except for DVDs, which we're buying less and less of anyway, but except for those, she said that she's been able to get like 95% of records from like Denver Public and New York Public through Z3950. So we've literally been cataloging for the last 3 to 4 weeks without using Missouri Evergreen members and without using OCLC. And that's literally what we've been doing for like almost a month now. And she said she has to buy some DVD records from Ingram and then doctor them a little bit. We're buying less and less DVDs. And that's like the one media format that's like the issue. So we told OCLC about renewal, so we can't.
So the problem with relying completely on Z3950 is that a lot of these Z3950 targets, most of them are libraries that have OCLC, and they have basically said they're going to start clamping down on them providing their Z3950 to outside libraries such as us. So our targets, we don't know how long those targets will be good targets or how long OCLC will allow other libraries to let them be used as such, because technically we're doing the same thing. We're taking those records, we're putting them in our catalog, and
not illegal.
No.
Totally fine.
The records are not copyrighted.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a good question, but I know it's 90,000 right now, but I'm just concerned about, say we work something out. What would the cost going forward be, and would we have any way of predicting that?
Okay, yes, it's somewhat. If we sign a 3-year contract, they will be a built-in 3% a year inflation.
Over 3 years.
Every year will be a built-in 3. So this year's going to cost us 95,000, but one of those libraries is prorated. So I estimated if we did not put in another OCLC cataloging next year, other than that one, would be for FY28, we would be at 113,000. So we went from 95 to 113,000. And then add 3% on that, and it's still contingent upon us not migrating another OCLC member.
And I know you said Ingram said they're working on it, but would they be any kind of
Ingram is,
Yeah.
they are really they are in the they're in the they're chaos right now. They sure are.
So the biggest issue is we think in the future we could lose the Z3950 access. We think.
That's the problem. I am like you guys. I know that we want to be like OCLC can shove it. I feel you. All catalogers feel that way. But right now, because of Baker and Taylor going away, us not knowing what's really happening with Ingram, their records, if OCLC is going to go after these 59 targets, we don't know. So that's the problem we're in right now. Is I'd love to tell you, oh, we'll be fine. We don't know if we'll be fine.
Once that's joining OCLC, then they shut those down in the future. In a year from now, we can't do that anymore. So then we'll join OCLC. In the meantime,
other than that, because of that, they'll probably go back up to their 225,000.
Yeah, Heather.
I have a question. If the membership chooses to get an OCLC contract, could we then not have to pay the authority control cost of $25K a year? Is there a savings there?
It's not the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Well, but if we're constantly relying on records from OCLC, which have correct subject headings, it would not allow us to forgo authority control. So it's an additional cost.
Somebody in consortium would have to take over authority control. So it wouldn't just like happen. Somebody would have to be uploading the authority records, checking the authority records, yada, yada.
Can you translate this whole question for idiots?
Yes, please.
So when you catalog, there's controlled vocabulary for subject headings and authors.
We're paying separately for that.
We are paying separately for that. It is called authority control. Okay. All libraries pay separately for that. It's not something that's really, you can get it through OCLC, but God forbid you ask. Backstage.
It used to be archived.
Okay, yeah.
So currently Backstage looks at our catalog, updates the authority records that match. Rogan, because he's magic and we love him, he loads it in the back end. Nobody really has to deal with it. We set it up. It just is magic. It works.
We have to have that.
And we have to have that. You have to have the authority.
Can you have that even if you're just using, like I talked about Z3950? Like, does that still work together with that?
It's separate in a way, so it still works regardless of who you would have.
Okay. This 3-year contract is not forever. It is a temporary solution. Give us a chance. If I'm reading this right. It gives us 3 years and not 90 freaking days. It gives us 3 years to try to figure something out.
Or we cancel it with 1 year contract and who knows what they're gonna do then.
I am one of the OCLC and I'm willing to pay my fair share and then some. Because I mean, I love everybody. I'm not fighting with anyone. When I first heard, I'm on the leadership team as past chair. When I first heard this, I was so angry at OCLC. I'm like, dump them. And they're like, calm down, bring it down. Because you're not a cataloger and this is what's going to happen. And I'm like, crap. Because I hate them. They're mobsters and they're evil. They're the mafia. They are. But I also don't want to take this tool away from my cataloger, or from all the catalogers. And as one of the people paying, I will happily continue to pay more than my fair share. And I think those of us in the room that have OCLC, we're paying the large chunk of this mess. We're not asking people to suddenly pay my share. I'm paying my share and then some. I'm happy to do it.
So those of you in the room that have cataloging are paying a total of $90,000 a year. And you
said a couple more that dropped out since then, I thought.
Well, yeah, there were 2. They added the 2. Yeah. 4.
So we're down to like 50,000.
But there were 2 that had dropped in the last year that they added those prices to the catalog. And I can't blame any of you for dropping because I made the same decision as a director. I dropped Polk County's cataloging at that point because we were getting it from everybody else. And so and
OCLC is watching us like a hawk. So even if we have a library who drops OCLC 2 years before they join Missouri Evergreen, OCLC is still going to probably consider that. And one more, we still have a lot of questions. One more thing that I wanted to be sure that we mentioned that as Missouri Evergreen, we want to grow, especially we would love to attract those larger library systems because let's be real, Missouri Evergreen is a 501c3. We make money off of these larger libraries. That's how we fund the consortium at large. We will never attract a large library system if we do not have some sort of cataloging utility. They will laugh in our face.
But you'll lose all the small libraries.
Well, with our funding structure, the smallest libraries pay $100 annually. That is it.
The medium-sized
Yeah.
libraries won't take the burden of costs.
Correct. The larger libraries by far are. So go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say there's a question.
Thank you.
There's a lot of questions for that.
Well, we have several people in chat that are answering these questions. We have Sarah, our cataloging chair, and we have Greg, who is our incoming president.
There was a question about other statewide consortia. Yeah.
They are
Okay.
also being extorted. Let's just call it what it is. They're also being,
or
their state library funds it completely.
Right.
Yeah, Pines is one of the examples here. Pines, their state library pays for everything. They pay for OCLC, they pay for Web Dewey, they pay all of it.
Illinois.
They, at the same time they approached us about being out of compliance, they also approached the state library about them being out of compliance. And actually the deal that they offered us at the end was better than the deal that they offered the state library. So for adding us to the state library contract for OCLC. And they were gonna bundle it in with the state library very correctly said they didn't have the money. But the final result of is that the consortium contract that they're offering us is less than what they had offered the state library for the same thing. So yeah.
I'm an OCLC librarian, and I just want to say everything that Carrie said, I say too. And if we have 3 years to figure this out, then Ingram could get their act together
they do.
and we will have an alternative, but we don't have an alternative right now. And I can't see doing this to Liz, my own catalogers who begged me to keep OCLC, not begged, sorry guys, you didn't really beg, but I said, can we drop this? And they said, no, we can't stop it.
That is my fear, that we don't know what we don't know, and that they have such a hardline date. Okay, we drop OCLC, everybody starts falling off OCLC. What is everybody's workflow going to look like? I would hope it would be like Scenic and the records would be in there when they looked.
I've not been told this.
But the not knowing is the problem.
Well, I don't know why. Once again, I guess I don't understand why we're basing all this on the fact that they're going to shut down Z39. I know St. Louis County does not, the library does not share their records.
They do not, no.
I tried to text the director. I was wondering if that was due to a threat from OCLC or just voluntary.
When they merged with public,
Sure, but
they
still.
never went live again. So I don't know why.
Was during the merger?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was connected to that. Okay, yeah. So anyway, I guess I don't understand still why, if that's an option, I mean, it's not perfect, obviously. It's not as good as OCLC, sure, but that's an option. Why we're saying, well, let's just do this for 3 years when they might not shut down those other libraries around the country, like New Republican places, for 5 years. I mean, we have no idea how long it can take.
That is.
Why can't we just?
Can I
Can I
interject for just a
They
second?
might also be on the same timeline we are, and they're all, they may have gone after this
Oh, yeah.
legally. Every.
Yeah, why aren't they being sued?
And Sarah.
Hi, can I interject for just a second? So for myself, the reason I'm concerned about them shutting us down sooner rather than later is because they've started doing it. Like you used to be able to go in WorldCat and look at the full record and kind of pull things from there. You can't do that anymore. And that's recent that they've done that. So my feeling is, like Liz said, it's the uncertainty, but I do think there's some evidence that it's going to be sooner rather than later that we will lose access.
I have a text from Director of St. Louis County just now.
Oh,
We actually do share and have not ever stopped sharing. It has to do with our conversion to Vega, but the records are still there in the classic catalog, which anyone can see. Your text puzzles me.
You can see the bid record, sure, but you can't pull it in through Z39.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just not so you can see it. Yeah.
So you'd have to have a
Questions everywhere.
You can't pull it in from Z39, doesn't, you still can't find the record online.
And then what? Type the whole record?
Yeah.
That why ask a question?
Yes and no.
yeah.
If, based on what Steve's saying, can we go the opposite way? Can we join OCLC and if these big libraries win the fight and they keep their Z39, then let's drop OCLC later when we know they've survived the battle? Maybe that's the way to do it.
I'm just wondering how many, if the question's been asked, how many of the libraries that are currently paying for us are willing to keep paying for it?
We had a meeting, like Colleen said, we had a meeting with just the OCLC members.
About 40% that said they would be willing to pay more. We got more than the rest. We also had a couple that said that we ought to drop it. We had a couple that said they want it shared equally across the board. And so.
And those are the different funding.
Yeah, let's go to the
Okay,
proposed funding. Okay.
Could you review some of the key chat ones, because I have seen some go by that probably need to be
Okay.
shared with the group.
Well, okay.
I know, we do.
Want to be heard to the rest.
Oh, I
Well,
agree.
and they are being answered.
Yeah,
Okay. What are the other 60 MEC libraries using? They are not using anything. They are relying on those of us that do have OCLC. Not every record is coming from OCLC. That is absolutely correct, though the majority of them are being overlaid with OCLC records. We are often using records from Z39 targets as well. Great. Most.
They said St. Louis County Library, they're getting those records apparently.
Well, I think they might be saying that.
Some of those 39 libraries that you're getting from my.
They are.
Oh, they
using
are?
it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if they're going to crack down on everyone in the same. Then we won't be able to.
But that could require.
OCLC libraries are not aware of other alternatives, so they don't know we are using them. The alternatives, the Z39 alternatives, because there are no other cataloging utility alternatives, but there are other Z39 targets. Quality control, yes, without OCLC quality control, I mean, that's one of our biggest hurdles. Please, okay, we will try to repeat the questions from the audience for the chat. Apologies. Things are going very fast here in this room. I worry that OCLC will start charging for every library. I get that they are trying. The only positive thing I will say about OCLC is they really are trying to keep us. They have given us a hell of a deal. I'm just going to be honest that, so I do think that, and there's always going to be a chance, yes, that we would be locked in for 3 years at a fee structure of, after Merle joins, 3% on top of that every year.
If you say we did that for a year. And yeah, scenario, Ingram comes up with something.
Yeah.
Then we have negotiating power because now we have somebody else we can go to.
Right, here's where we are with Ingram.
I mean,
Here's where we are with Ingram. Ingram charges for their enhanced catalogs. They charge 75 cents a record. Not too bad if you're an individual library. But how many James Patterson books do we order? And every one of us order those James Patterson books. You can't, I think the latest James Patterson book, whenever it had just been released and there was still 30 or 40 catalog. And I figured the cataloging for just that one book that we would all have to pay for is $32. And that doesn't make sense as a consortium.
With Ingram, they bundle. So regardless of if you have the book already, regardless of even if you've already ordered the book from Ingram before, you are paying for the mark. So if I order 30 James Patterson books, even on the same order, I'm paying a mark record for every single one of those books. They do
on
not
their enhanced version.
Yeah.
And it's because they have not been they had to take over all of the, a lot of the Baker and Tabor, and they are still struggling to find their way and find.
That's their.
But part of
Well,
what,
lower the
what
original
Brett told me is that part of the reason why Baker and Taylor went under is cataloging is not profitable, and they were losing money on the catalog.
I mean, has OCLC ever actually made a library turn off their sharing? Has that ever happened legally? Like, is there any precedent? I don't know how they could legally do that if they don't want it to. Like, I don't.
You will not be a member of OCLC.
I don't mean that, but like, say Columbus Public Library, OCLC can go to them and legally tell them, you need to stop sharing your records when they're not copyrighted. I don't understand how they could legally, if they wanted to.
They wouldn't, they would just not allow them to renew.
They would not allow.
Is there sharing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing to us.
They'll do the same thing that they're doing to us. Yes.
Yeah.
If there is no competition, there is no stopping.
That is true.
So we need to create the competition. We might be able to do a year so that we can get our feet under us. But would it be any more expensive to hire professional catalogers to do what they are doing? I'm a
Yes.
director
Yeah.
that does
Costs
catalog.
way more.
So stuff it in their face and.
Catalog cost.
Yeah, yes, $70,000 to $90,000.
I'd rather invest in us being the competition.
Yes, and one person
Us
could
being over
catalog.
there.
I don't know if one person could do it. though.
No,
But
no,
they could.
Do you mean per library order or?
No.
No.
That it would be the MEC cataloging.
So have one more cataloger for 80 libraries and that would,
Liz already is that.
Well, I don't know what the breakdown would be, but I'm just saying, we can sit here all day and talk about how much we pay for CLC.
Yeah.
But if
That's
you
why I
don't
said
get many
go on to the-
competition, it's
go on
only
to
gonna
the
go up and you're gonna
proposals.
lose the small libraries.
okay.
And that's kind of what
No, I want to.
this all started for, was to help small libraries.
Small library here, 3 part-time staff. We rely heavily on Z39.50 and adding holdings based on records that larger libraries have created saves us hours of work. The budget is already pulled tight enough to shoot an arrow. Heather, Liz will know, but I believe there's something with using WorldShare.
So that's why,
Definitely there's somebody
that's
that
why we
needs
said a hell of a deal. It doesn't seem like a hell of a deal. However, if you're familiar with cataloging, they have full OCLC cataloging and metadata, which is what allows you to pull in through Z3960, or they just have record manager. With what they are offering us, all the libraries in MEC would have full cataloging and metadata, meaning they would all have credentials through Z3950 and could pull in those records from OCLC then using those credentials themselves.
And WorldShare metadata manager, if you, that's ILL essentially. So if you have dropped ILL because you have joined Missouri Evergreen, that would be your access to WorldShare metadata manager. So yes, you could, if you are an ILL user of OCLC, maybe subsidized by the state library, you could potentially have WorldShare access to WorldShare metadata manager, but certainly not everybody does.
I do agree that it's a good deal for a whole consortium. I get that, but also it's also hard to know if it's a good deal because there's no pricing structure. Like Claudia, is she here?
Yeah.
She's right here.
She's paying more than twice what we are, and we put out more items in our larger service population, and everything than them. The prices literally are not consistent.
They don't make sense. Agreed.
No.
And that was my main
So that's why I
concern
know
with
it's a good
this.
deal. I mean, it's not a good deal. It's a good deal for her.
Well,
Not as good as-
we are saying it's a good deal because we have gotten now 3 quotes, all about $250 to
Because the higher
between
quote,
$2 and $250.
the higher quote that we received was not everybody even having full access via Z3950. It was some libraries having small library edition, which did not allow Z3950. So this is the full version for everyone at $90.95 instead of $250. That's why we're saying, that's why we keep calling it that.
So if you pay 75 cents a record for Ingram, I was just doing our new items. I'm gonna save money probably by doing the amount in this spreadsheet from paying 75 cents
Okay.
for new records from.
That's where we're getting our DVD
So-
records right now.
All right, let's look at,
Just a.
the price structure. The ones that.
You wanna
on-
drive this?
Yeah, on the ones that are dark blue in here have OCLC cataloging. The ones that are orange are the ones that are not on us yet, though I did figure Merle's in here prorated it.
We're paying $27,000 right now.
They gave us a quote for you
Yeah.
to add at 20,000.
Okay, well, that would save money.
But yeah,
They gave up
okay.
you.
What we wanted to show you is if we divided it out like we do a lot of our add-ons, annual cost just directly by income. This is not something that you guys would even consider, and we know that. I mean, we're looking at Cass County, who is not a user, would be paying an extra $6,670. Yeah, that doesn't seem like something she would do. But Adair County, which currently pays $7,700 in OCLC, if you divided it by cost, would be paying $792. We know this is just for an idea of what it would cost. We're not putting this one out for the membership because we know it's a non-starter. We know that. So we came up with two different fee structures.
Oh,
And-
$50. I kept saying $100.
Well, yeah, if you have a budget, an income of under 100,000, this would only add $50 to your fee.
Annual fee.
Annual fee. If you had a budget of 100 to 300, it would only add $100 to your fee. 300 to 500 is 200. If you have 500 to $1 million, which is actually about the vast majority of Missouri Evergreen, I think is be 500. If you have $1 million to 3 million, it's 1,000. If you have 3,000 plus 3 million plus, it's 1,500. Now the current OCLC members would pay a 50% discount on what their current subscription is, and everybody else would pay the minimum. And then Missouri Evergreen from our surplus funds would pick up this amount for the following years. When you were asking about surplus funds, this was where this would come
Yeah,
from.
ultimately, that's still our money.
Ultimately, yes, it is coming from the membership. If and there is opportunity cost.
It's not like natural money smells.
No.
It's our fees.
Fee structure for two. The current members would get a 50% discount, or they would pay the annual fee if we divided it out equally by everybody else. So Adair would then pay $792, which is what we were trying to do was we know that there is no rhyme or reason to OCLC and how they structure their fees. So we were trying to make it a little more fair and a little bit more equitable to those libraries that have been paying. Yeah.
So I have a question. So I just checked and I have OCLC. You can tell how much a catalog. But anyway, my bill is $3,200 a year. So I would probably drop OCLC to do this because this is half of what I would be paying.
For the 20 libraries that are on OCLC, it is a huge Oops, sorry.
I just did it when I
Okay,
let someone in.
that's the reason why we worked this 1,000 different ways, trying to make it as painless to the membership as possible. Just, would it be completely pain-free? Hell no. Would you still have a sour taste in your mouth? Hell yes, because it is OCLC. Now, we're not gonna vote on this today. Our thought was we were going to give you time to think about it, discuss it, and put it out for a vote in 2 weeks, because we know that it is the directors that vote on this. We want to make, and some could not be here, some could not attend. We want to make sure everybody has equal opportunity.
There may not be many people, but we don't have OCS traveling, but we do for ILL. And I just wanted to make sure that I understand, would we drop our ILO?
Absolutely not. Two very separate things.
Two separate things.
different.
If you want to keep it, keep it.
That would be separated.
It's a separate thing. This is just for the cataloging.
Stacy?
Does OCLC know that the plan is, I'm concerned that they're giving us this price, hoping you guys all stay the same price. They're not, they're saying then everybody's together, then it's right.
And they would build.
And we.
They're gonna build the consortium, they're not building, this,
paying what.
the bill would come to the consortium. It would not come to each individual library. Those libraries that have OCLC cataloging and that renewed it would get a
I'm
credit.
trying to make it.
Yeah.
I also believe in 3 years they're gonna rake us over the.
I agree. We don't disagree.
Here's your $250,000 bill now in 3 years now.
We don't disagree.
I have seen them.
I
But we
hopefully,
have figured out it, running out of time.
Understand, put my out.
This piece are actually divided. We're already going to be renewing, like Sue just renewed her contracts.
Yeah.
So there's a plan, yeah.
this fee structure with us starts September 1st if the membership votes for it. However, those of you that are in the middle of your contract will get a refund back from September 1st to whatever your end of your end
An
date
actual
from
refund?
OCLC.
Credit on
They
the-
said a refund.
They said refund.
They said a
Yeah.
refund.
You know how that, it's only mobsters can.
Yeah, that's what they said.
I'll get one for you.
Well, there was one time, whenever we were in our
Yeah.
interesting conversations with OCLC, and this one was just a phone call conversation at 4 o'clock. I asked him how prices were determined. And of course, I wasn't on record, and he said that there's no rhyme or reason. And I am at least trying, we all agree. So I'm at least trying to put a rhyme or reason to what this.
It's still.
It's like database
It's
vendors of the
Yeah, if you look at, yeah, it's.
Okay, let's do that large,
Yeah,
the chat, please, so that way
Yeah.
we also get the same information from the chat, if you don't mind.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that and show this.
Right, I know.
I mean, OCLC had transaction-based pricing way back when. I mean, I remember that. And when they went to subscription pricing, there was no, your first subscription of your subscription pricing was based on your last year of your transaction pricing. And then it just became complete
Crazy,
chaos.
crazy.
Yeah,
It is completely nuts.
yeah.
Yeah, Ron.
They wanted
This is
to.
probably not going to be a popular suggestion, but I'll make it anyway.
That's fine.
He's wearing a cool shirt.
Yeah, you're wearing a coat.
Is there any interest at all from us for them with going a 5-year contract so we have more time before we get hit with this huge inflation at the end of the contract? Because I agree, at the end of that 3 years, they're gonna hit us hard.
But they're gonna hit us hard regardless of 3 or 5. I will tell you, our plans before all this hit for Missouri Evergreen and what we were planning on for, it was a full-time director and about halfway through the year hire a full-time system administrator.
Full-time?
Yeah, that's what we
Halfway
figured
through the year.
halfway through the year.
Okay.
Because we wanted to make sure, because the new director needs to hire that, not me. And if we go with this OCLC cataloging, the system administrator's out the window. It's not gonna happen. And so there is an opportunity cost. The full-time director will still be in the proposed budget for next year. Well, we haven't quite finished it, finalized it, but that is, we wanted to. That's the reason why some of the other ones we threw out when we were looking at, was this sustainable? It was using, it was the higher cost for Missouri Evergreen going forward using our surplus funds. So it is sustainable for the 3 years. After that,
So this is what Missouri Evergreen pays in these fee structures.
yeah. Because this year we only have a prorated cost for Merle going through, let me go down here. Merle would pay under this other fee structure. You're gonna love that.
Oh, yeah.
$1,250. But that's just prorated until September 1st. And then it would go up to 10,000, I think, half.
Better than 27,000.
It would be 10,000 here, or if they vote for fee structure 1, it would be 10,000. If they vote for fee structure 2, it would then be 5,199.
Steve, will we be able to vote before we migrate or not?
You
Okay.
are a member
Yeah.
of Missouri
That's what I
Evergreen.
thought you would vote.
You can vote, and that's the reason why we wanted to make sure all directors were appraised of this. And make sure you have a couple weeks to think about it, take a look at the spreadsheets, get over the anger, because I realized I went a little ballistic too, and went off on him one time, I think. Had a few drinks and
They're a Z39 target.
Just picking on Denver.
Just picking on Denver.
Yeah.
Because they're a Z3950 target.
So it's
And they're,
Denver.
they're decently large, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
it might be that these libraries, but they may be the same boat we are. Where is, if you do not do what we ask, if OCLC could tell them, if you don't do what we ask, we're taking our toys and going home. And I don't know, for them, if they're not part of a consortium that's using these Z39s, they may decide it's not worth it to fight OCLC over something like that. And no, their records are not copyrighted. They are.
Why are they now seeing the wall and not?
I have no idea.
Somebody dance in the back.
Somebody dance in the back.
Ron with his shirt. No, it's locked.
It's locked
It's
up.
because it's pointing towards Holy.
It's
You just
pointed
really
right
see
towards the.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, it's using.
No, it's my head.
Oh, it's using this instead of this. Okay, so how do I reconnect that?
I don't know. Okay, now you're probably getting chat saying they can't hear us.
Yeah.
I mean, we can hear you. And can I chime in for just a second?
Yeah.
And so I just think like just spitballing ideas, like at a cost of $100,000 a year, we could hire a part-time person or a consultant even to reach out to other libraries who don't use OCLT to make a network of Z3950 targets to share this work with other libraries. I mean, this cost is just, I know we're all agree that it's extortionate, but at this cost, we could practically just hire another person to work on it like long term, like to create a network of libraries who are not using OCLC and to share their targets with one another to spread this work around.
Yeah, I wonder if there's things to all the consortiums, if they're going to be working together to create some, instead of just doing it on our own.
But we're not gonna be able to do it in the next.
30
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
60, 90 days.
I think
There was a question about the early termination. Is there somebody?
Yeah, Kristen at Amigos asked if we did a 3-year contract, but we decided to early terminate because we found an alternate solution. Is there a fee?
I don't know that. Probably is, but I do not. OCLC, there's going to be a fee, but I do not know that.
What was the last comment? Susan Knox.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the last comment? Susan Knox.
Yeah. And that's why we did it, Susan, was we knew that wasn't going to work, to share it like we do with like our archive records, to share it like we do our any of those other records. We looked at different ways of sharing the cost, and we knew that wasn't going to work because yes, Susan, you would have that high of a cost. Barry Lawrence would be very, very high. And we knew that wasn't going to work.
So we have presented the fee structures, 1 and 2 here. Sorry, so this is what you'll be voting on. There will be 2 questions.
There will be 2 questions. Do you want NEC to offer to sign the contract with OCLC? So that's your yes or no. Dump it if you want. or sign it. Which fee structure would you want us to use? Fee structure 1 or 2, if the contract vote passed? This was such a big decision, we felt it had to go to you guys to vote on this, because we can't do this any other way.
Can you double check about the cancellation clause?
I will double check about the cancellation clause.
And if there isn't one in there, can we add one?
I will see what they've
It's a
got that.
negotiation, correct?
I will see what they do about that. Also on that,
Susan, the spreadsheet was in the membership packet already, so it's in your email. Thank you, Heather.
Yes, and I appreciate it.
I told you this already via email, but I just have a question. So they went from $225,000 down to something else, down to
140.
90,000. Are we not countering with a lower number again? Just, it certainly seems to be a very open negotiation back. I mean, are we not gonna go back and say, how about 70?
Well,
I mean, honestly,
to be honest, on the formal quote,
yeah.
he said that the current members would continue to would renew and keep their subscription. So you canceling your subscription is actually and I went back to him.
We shouldn't sign anything yet.
I haven't signed anything that, but and I went back to him and said, we can't control that. There's no way we are, we're a membership organization, but we can't control what individual libraries did.
So what I asked earlier is what they're doing. And
Yeah.
they think it's gonna happen. They expect them to keep paying their big fee and us pay this. That's
No,
what-
no,
No.
no.
But they
I
just said you
I
could.
think it's going to get refunded back, I've already reviewed.
Yeah.
From them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a deal.
Supposedly.
Yeah, someone put a
I mean,
horse
that would
head
have
down
to-
there, so.
I think that's how we negotiated that if they don't pay it, then.
Well, that's what I said. It's not, that's what I asked him. Is like, I knew that there's several of you had contracts that ended in the end of June and needed to renew. And, they said on the actual quote, it says that that's concurrent about other people. Now, if they come back with a higher number, too late. It's not gonna work. I know you guys won't agree with that. So.
Mary Beth?
Why not give a counter offer of, come up with our own
I think all they can say
calculation?
is no.
Yeah.
Except we're running out of time, but we're back to this
that's
where
the problem.
we're here.
They gave us a no.
Just tell them where you're.
No, but it,
Years old.
they have to have this contract signed by the September 1st. Name the number, okay, how many general membership meetings do we have before now and September 1st?
What we're asking is, will you take this lower price? They say no, we're back to where we're at right now. It doesn't make a difference.
Well,
Nothing
we can
changes.
vote, we can still vote on
Yeah.
this and then offer a counter. If they accept it, then we end up reducing our fee
Even
structure.
if we knock $10,000 off, I mean, it's something.
But if they
Yeah, I
refuse
think
it,
they
then
vote
we've
on
already voted and approved the
Or
construct.
even like, we don't do that 3%, we just have the 3-year 90,000, whatever.
Because we're adding members in and they know it, so they're not. gonna do
They're
that.
not gonna do that.
They're not gonna do that, they know we're adding more people in,
Yeah.
they're going to rave on that.
I mean, couldn't we vote on the deal as proposed and then if you can't get a better deal, great, but if
Well, yeah.
not, you're approved to do it at that higher.
Okay, that makes sense, because we do need to, and what I was thinking was a 2 weeks for, everybody to get acclimated, take a look at the schedules, make your decision, not in the heat of the moment, but actually thinking it out, and I get it, believe me.
Is there a membership meeting in July?
There's not a membership meeting in July, there's more.
It's every other,
You can always
Yeah.
call it.
So it's August.
As necessary.
We could have one if we really want.
but we're gonna,
Yeah.
yes, we're gonna vote. The vote will be via OPA vote, like we've been doing with
Call it general membership at your level.
I mean, the fee structures that you have, the two options, are gonna ultimately be the same, the numbers will just be a little different. I mean, if they lowered their price by
Sure.
$10,000. So really, you're voting on the structure, not necessarily the dollar amounts, I don't think.
Yeah. Yes, Eva?
Could we ask a member of the committee, that would fall under, talk to Georgia, talk to IMLS, talk to Library of Congress, and see, I'm honestly, I'd be willing to call them and talk to them, but I don't have the nitty gritty. Because like she said, we're not the only consortium that this is happening to,
No,
so.
we are not.
And and asked them, well, I mean, we are in constant contact with other consortia. We know already what Pennsylvania, what Indiana, what Georgia, all of their consortium are doing or have done. Either they have capitulated or their state library is paying for everything, which is more often.
OCLC?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, their state library pays, and we know that the state library already supports us. We are very thankful.
And the deal that they offered the state library is not as good as the deal that they offered us. I will tell you that. So.
Because they think the state library has more money than us.
Well, they covered it.
That is probably not untrue.
Well, it's true that 3%, it's not just inflation, but it really does cover the additional libraries in Vienna. Are they gonna tack on another fee?
They are going to tack on another fee if another OCLC library, the 3% is inflation. If we migrate on other libraries that currently have OCLC or had OCLC even probably in the last 2 to 5 years knowing OCLC, that will be added to our bill.
Yes. Yep. And so, and so do you want me to put another vote on? Do you want to issue a 1 year or a 3 year?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be happy to do that. I'll be, that doesn't take.
Indiana's getting shellacked.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. Although I do like Shellac.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, Evergreen, Indiana is definitely getting hit with this too, so it is not just us, that they're trying to shut down, but it doesn't help. Yes.
Can we just add a third question? I would like to add a little nice FU to the memo line.
I love thinking, probably not professional, but thinking.
It's coming out.
I will find out what.
Yeah.
What?
I would love to see that.
Anybody taking legal action?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, everybody.
Everybody
They
has
try.
Everybody has sued and Baker and Taylor tried.
Like Liz says, they're very litigious and they have deep pockets, so they have won every single time.
Into those cases, I was trying to settle.
Yes.
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 So maybe we can get some money out of them.
Take it.
They don't.
Yeah, how much federal done, they don't get LLC advance.
No.
Heather wants to know.
Oh, we want to put an FU on the memo line of the chat.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I can't do that. I'll put it in the minutes too.
Tell her later.
It's a comment section.
Okay, we will tell you, off record what actually happened and to Heather, so you can know why it was laughing. I'll email you later.
Maybe.
And I'm hopeful. Based on my discussions with Brett, Doris at Ingram, I am hopeful that they will get someplace, but they're not there yet.
As we mentioned, even as longtime catalogers, there's not a cataloger that is in love with OCLC. It is, so there is movement, there is desire from catalogers to have some kind of actual alternative to OCLC. That is really easy to say, I'm gonna say, it's gonna be really hard to actually execute.
Those records come from us already. Like they're being created by the.
Believe me,
Yeah.
catalogers can.
I don't know why we're not cutting out them
But I
from the
love the
process.
idea of the consortium, it only takes 1 or 2 consortiums to get together and start that process. Because if we don't start, then.
But if we do sign the contract, all members will have OCLC login cataloging subscriptions.
And then, of course, in this unicorn and rainbow life that we will live with all catalogers having OCLC, Liz's training will then encompass how to catalog using OCLC.
I think you somehow messed up no, never mind.
That's your finger, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw another column in there and it's like, did my column get switched? I hate Google Drive. Sorry.
Using your.
Yes.
Yeah, it's using this instead of that. Ron.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I said.
That's it, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we've had a discussion about this for about an hour and a half now. I appreciate all of the talk. I know that there are actual MPLD things going on. So you have the fee structure. You will get an email. The directors will get an email from Colleen in 2 weeks or so to actually
I'll
answer
probably
these
send
few
out
questions.
send out emails from now until the explaining things that people have asked.
And as Sue, we do not have another membership until August, but as Sue has said, we can call a membership meeting if necessary, if anybody wants to discuss this before the vote goes out. Terry?
I'm making your motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Terry, I have a motion to adjourn. Sean?
Get out.
Sean has a second.
Thank you, everybody online.
In the spreadsheet, what do green highlights on the library mean? That means that, let's see, green means.
That's a leftover from a copy paste.
Oh, green means nothing.
Green means nothing. It's how that, it's light green.
Yeah, light green.
And that's a
It
leftover.
doesn't look, yeah.
It is a leftover from a copy paste.
So it does not mean anything.
Thank you.
Yeah. We knew that this one was going to happen.
We need to call. There's some questions.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, everyone online. Sorry for the chaos.
I've got it on my notes.
We will see you later.
You're like peeking up from the corner.
I was wondering how long it would take them because like,
Bye.
sometimes they're not.